Hi everybody, it's Dawn from daVoria's Jewelry. I'm going to do a quick video. First, I'm going to explain a few of the things that I use and how I set myself up so that every time I'm not fishing around looking for things. Then I'm going to show you quickly how I make a very simple piece. This would be a great video for somebody who's just starting out. You can actually make a piece and feel pretty comfortable and confident once you watch this video. So here is where I keep all my tools. They're right to the left of me. I always have them there. These are my slats, and they come in all different sizes, and these represent cards. So when you're working with metal clay, it's pretty universal. If somebody wants to know how big was this or how thick was this, you can always say it was 2 cards, 4 cards, 6 cards thick, and you're going to know what they're talking about. They're going to know what you're talking about. I'm going to be using 2 cards, and I'm going to move over here a little bit. So I'm going to be using 2 cards. Using PMC3. I like PMC3. I use it pretty much for everything. It's one of the strongest clays that you could use. And I like to keep my stuff all uniform, so I always know the shrinkage rate is the same and all that kind of stuff. Here's my olive oil. And I always squirt some right in the top left corner. So if I need it, it's already there. My distilled water. And I put a little dab over here in the right-hand corner. Here's the PVC pipe that my husband cut for me. It's 8 inches long. And I like it better than the smaller circumference of a rolling pin. I like how thick it is because I don't have to roll so much, and I feel like it gives me a more even roll. Sometimes you could use these little cutters. They come in handy for many different things. I'm not going to use it today, but I just wanted to show it to you. Here's my templates for shapes. I have a ton of different ones today. I'll be using the rectangle. Here's my cutter. I like this one. It's pretty simple. I like the way the handle feels in my hand, and the tip on it is nice and sharp. Here's some of my textures. When you're using these textures, or any texture for that matter, always make sure you oil it well enough so that it gets into the crevices, and when you press it into your clay, the clay doesn't get stuck. Today, though, I am going to be using one of the stamps that I used, and it says My Story. I have quite a few pieces that I need to make with my story on it, so that's what I'm going to show you today instead of actually using one of those textures. And this is my blade that I like to pick things up, so I always have that pretty near me too. The last thing I'm going to show you is this little plastic bag. I like to have this on hand in case I have to stop for a phone call or I have to tend to my puppies. I can just put this over my clay piece and go about my business, and my piece will not dry. And at the end of the video, I'll show you what else I use this for. But I always like to keep one handy. So here we go. I'm going to get started. I'm going to take a little bit of oil, put it in the palms of my hand. Going to make sure I have enough oil. You don't want to soak it, but you just want to make sure that when you're using your clay, it's not going to stick. And my rolling pin pretty much already has oil on it because I use it over and over. But I'm going to put pretty good pressure when I'm rolling this to make sure that I'm getting any air bubbles out of my clay. And then I'm going to put it down and just go back and forth, picking it up and then doing it again, because what I'm trying to do is make sure that this whole piece is 2 cards thick. So you can see how as I'm rolling it, it's getting bigger and bigger. In fact, it's kind of a big piece for me to use this one little stamp, but that's okay. Putting a little oil on it so it doesn't stick. And then I'm just going to do even pressure. Not too hard because I don't want to go all the way onto my mat. And by the way, this mat, it's just a cutting mat that you could use while you're quilting, basically. It's funny how you find your supplies in different areas. And I did my stamp upside down because I wasn't paying attention, but that's okay. I'm just going to put it back down. There we go. And I'm going to make sure that I center that right. That's about right where I want it. When I'm cutting, I'm straight up and down because I don't want to drag. If you go like this, you will drag your clay. You don't want to drag it. Then this is where I'm going to take this little bag, put it on top here, and I'm just going to go around the edges because I'm getting a little bit of that lip that the cutter made. I'm taking a little bit of that off. Then I'm going to put my little holes in there. And pick it up. And then I'm going to put it on my cup warmer. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you'll start watching some of the other ones that I'll be doing quite soon. Thank you.